Hare Krishna, welcome to this session with the Gauriya treasures of Bengal. This is your servant Deeptiman Gaurahari Das. So in this video we're going to talk about the Indian caste system, the so-called division of the Indian society on the basis of higher and lower castes. We're going to discuss whether this caste system is bona fide and whether this caste system finds its mention in the Vedic scriptures. As we all know that this caste system has been a source of major controversy and has led to deep unrest within the Indian society. So in this video we're going to try and learn more about this so-called Indian caste system and try to determine its authenticity. It is said that the division of the Indian society on the basis of caste, this caste system finds its origin in the ancient Indian Varnashram system. Varnashram is a system of classifying the society on the basis of varnas and ashramas. Now what are varnas? Varna basically translates to class. For example, there are 4 varnas that has been broadly identified. The 4 varnas are brahmanas or the priestly class. Then we have the kshatriyas or those who are rulers and the administrators. Then we have the vaishyas, the mercantile class. And then we have the shudras or the laborers, the working class. While ashramas is the division of society on the basis of the 4 orders of life. Brahmacharya or the celibates, grihastha or the householder, vanaprastha, one who is retired, and the sannyasi or the renounced. The brahmanas or the priestly class are considered to be the highest and the most esteemed, followed by the kshatriyas, the vaishyas and the shudras. However, the caste system as it stands today is solely based upon one's birth and one's lineage. What I mean is, a son of a brahmana is automatically considered to be a brahmana these days, and a son of a kshatriya is considered to be a kshatriya. A son of a vaishya is considered to be a vaishya, and a son of a shudra is considered to be a shudra. So this entire caste system, this entire division of society on the basis of varnas has been reduced to one's birth and lineage. So the question now arises that was it the same way centuries ago? And does this caste system in its present form adhere to the teachings, the tenets of the Vedic scriptures? As Vedas are considered to be the words of God, so did God intend to place this caste system in the human society? And does one's birth and lineage get to be the most important deciding factor that decides one's class, that decides one's caste? Today in this video, we are going to investigate into the Vedic scriptures in order to find out this exceedingly vital truth. Well, it is true that the reference to the Varnashram system is found widely in the Vedic scriptures. If we look no further than the Vishnu Puran, we find that it states, Varnashramacharvata Purushain Parapuman Vishnur Aradhyate Pantha Nanyat Tattosakaranam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Lord Vishnu is worshipped by proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashram. There is no other way to satisfy the Supreme Being. One must be situated in the institution of Varna and Ashram. The Bhagavad Gita, for instance, states that these 4 classes of men that divides the human society, these 4 classes, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas and the Shudras, these 4 classes are born from 4 different parts of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas or the priestly class, they are born from the Lord's face. The Kshatriyas or the rulers are born from his arms. The Vaishyas or the mercantile community, they are born from the Lord's thighs. And the Shudras, the laborers, they are born from the Lord's feet. In fact, if we calmly think about this division of the human society on the basis of varnas and ashramas, we would find that it is quite natural. Whether it be in India or America or China, people can be classified into these same categories based upon their natural tendencies and their occupation. Hence this priestly class or the intellectuals, the administrative class or the rulers, the mercantiles and the laborers are to be found everywhere, across countries and across societies. Similarly, the celibates, the householders, the retired and the renounced are the natural orders of one's existence. When one engages in his or her occupational duty as per his natural tendencies, then one can live peacefully and not be greatly disturbed by external circumstances. The whole objective of this Varnashram system is in fact to engage each and every person as per his nature, as per his tendencies, and thereby gradually uplift one's consciousness and make him or her realize the essential truths of life. So now the question arises as to how one's varna or caste is determined. Is it one's birth or lineage which decides one's varna? Let us try to investigate into this subject in more detail. Let us actually try to refer to the Vedic scriptures, try and understand this subject in order to find an answer to this question. If birth was the only determining factor, then it must be stressed that several of the great sages of Vedic India, whose glories are widely sung till this day, many of them did not inherit their castes from their parents. Some of them even had non-human origin. For example, Sage Sasringa was born from a deer. Sage Kaushika was born from kusha grass. Jambuka Rishi was born from a jackal. Valmiki was born from an anthill. And Sage Vyasdev was born from a fisherman's daughter. Gautama Muni was born from the back of a rabbit. Vasishtha was born from Urvashi, the celestial damsel. And Agastha Muni was born from a pitcher. The Vedic scriptures profess that the Brahmanas are the highest class. Now the question naturally arises as to who is a Brahmana. Is it this body which is the Brahmana? Is it one's soul which is the Brahmana? Is it one's intellect, the mind, which is the Brahmana? Is it one's activities which is the Brahmana? Or is it one's inherited caste that is called the Brahmana? If one argues that the soul is the Brahmana, then it must be said that each and every living entity is a spirit soul which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Aham Brahmasmi. On the spiritual platform, all Atmans are the same qualitatively. Each and every soul, each and every Atman is nothing but a minute spark of the Paramatma, who is the Supreme Consciousness. The spiritual identity of the living entity remains the same in the past, present, or the future. According to the Vedic scriptures, the soul transmigrates from one body to the other, sometimes being embodied in the body of an animal, sometimes in the body of a human, sometimes he takes birth as a man, sometimes as a woman, sometimes as a Hindu, sometimes as a Muslim, sometimes as an American, and so on. So if the living entity is termed as a Brahmana, then all living entities have to be termed as Brahmanas, since they are all spirit souls. If one, however, argues that this body is the Brahmana, then it must be noted that all human bodies, starting from the body of a so-called Brahmana down to that of an uncivilized Chandal or a barbarian, are composed of the same 5 gross elements, which is earth, water, ether, fire and wind. Birth, death, religion, irreligion, etc. affect all bodies equally. There is no such law that the body of a Brahmana is white, the body of a Kshatriya is red, while that of a Shudra is black. Hence it must be concluded that the body is definitely not the Brahmana. Moreover, when the son of a Brahmana burns the body of his dead father, he does not commit the sin of killing a Brahmana. Therefore the body is definitely not the Brahmana. So who is the Brahmana? Is it the mind and the intellect that constitute the actual Brahmana? If that were the case, then there are so many learned people who belong to the so-called different castes. Yudhishthir Maharaj was very learned, and so was Bhishma Pitama. But both of these great gentlemen were Kshatriyas. Neither can one's activities be considered to be the Brahmana, as there are or there were several noble kings who used to give gold in charity. So then who is the Brahmana? This question is very nicely answered by Yudhishthir Maharaj, and it is recorded in the Vana Parva of Mahabharata. So when the snake asked, O Maharaj Yudhishthir, who is a Brahmana and what is the object of knowledge? You are very intelligent, and therefore I will be enlightened by your statement. Maharaj Yudhishthir then replied that a person who possesses truthfulness, charity, forgiveness, sobriety, gentleness, austerity, and lack of hatred, such a person is called a Brahmana. The snake then inquired that even Shudras possess these qualities. Many of them possess truthfulness, charity, freedom from anger, non-violence, non-enviousness, and lack of hatred. So Maharaj Yudhishthira then clarified that if such symptoms are to be found in a Shudra, then he should never be considered to be a Shudra. Just as a Brahmana is never a Brahmana if he does not possess these qualities. O snake, only a person who is endowed with the characteristics of a Brahmana can be called a Brahmana. Otherwise, he is simply a Shudra. Elsewhere, the Brahma Sutras reveal Tad abhav nirdharane cha pravarte. Whether a person belongs to a Varna other than that of his birth may be ascertained by considering his qualities. The Shanti Parva of Mahabharata narrates a similar pastime in which Bharadvaj Muni had a similar doubt and he clarified the same with Bhrigu Maharaj. He asked that since there were innumerable categories of animate and inanimate living entities, how can one possibly determine their varnas or their castes? Bhrigu Maharaj replied that there was not much difference between the varnas. When Lord Brahma initially created this universe, all the living entities were endowed with godly qualities and they were all Brahmanas. Later on, as people became degraded, they attained the designations of different varnas. He went on to explain that when the Brahmanas commit violence, speak lies, become greedy, earn their livelihood by any and all activities, lose their purity by sinful activities, then they become degraded into Shudras. The Vishnu Yamala Puran goes as far as saying, Asuddha Sudra Kalpahi Brahmana Kali Sambhava. The Brahmanas born in Kali Yuga are impure and no better than the Shudras. Thus it must be quite clear by now that it is one's nature and qualities and not one's birth and lineage that determines one's Varna and caste. One's Varna is currently ascertained only from his birth, but the ancient and rational system approved by the Vedas is to ascertain one's Varna by considering one's symptoms. This is not the new imagination of selfish people. Many people were not born in the Brahmana families but have gone on to become Brahmanas by proper initiation. Innumerable incidents illustrating this fact are known to those who are well aware of the Indian history. For example, Gadhi was the son of Kushika, who belonged to the Chandra dynasty. He was the king of Kanya Kubja. His son Vishwamitra went on to become a Brahmana, a great Brahma Rishi, by the strength of his own austerities. Even the great king Bali Maharaj bore sons, some of who became Brahmanas and some of who became Kshatriyas. His Brahmana sons came to be known as Balaya Brahmanas, whereas his Kshatriya sons came to be known as Balaya Kshatriyas. Now let us read what the Srimad Bhagavatam has to say about the system of Varnashram. The Srimad Bhagavatam reveals, Lord Shiva said that a person who executes his occupational duty of Varnashram properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. However, a person who is directly surrendered unto Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and the other demigods attain these planets only after the destruction of this material world. The Padma Puran also speaks on similar lines and stresses on pure devotional service unto Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, as compared to one executing his occupational duties as per the system of Varna and Ashram. The Padma Puran says, Na karma bandhanam janma vaishnavanam cha vidyate Vishnur anucharatvam hi moksha mahur manisinaha. Vaishnavas are not bound by the fruitive activities or forced to take birth. because learned persons have firmly declared that service to Lord Vishnu is liberation itself. Materialistic people who are proud of their high births or their high castes are actually puppets in the hands of the Lord's illusory potency, which is also known as Maya. These people try to act independently in order to accumulate fruitive activities to subsequently enjoy the senses, their mind, or their ego. The devotees of the Supreme Lord do not fall for this trap. They know that the attempts to become the master of this material world are in reality a service to Maya, the illusory potency of the Lord, which is the root cause of bondage in this world of birth and death. Hence they give up their hellish fruitive mentality and understand that the eternal service of the Supreme Lord is their only constitutional duty. The devotee of the Supreme Lord realizes that the very essence of the Vedas is to render unconditional loving devotional service unto Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvair aham iva vedeo. Of all the Vedas, only I, Sri Krishna, am to be known. Identifying oneself with anything other than the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord is an illusion that is detrimental to one's spiritual progress. So we have learned till now that the caste system that is prevalent in the current Indian society, that is being implemented in the Indian society at present, is a perverted version of the Varnashram system, the original Varnashram system that has been professed in the Vedic scriptures. Merely staying true to one's Varna or Ashram and discharging one's occupational duty would not help one reach the Supreme Lord unless the Supreme Lord is the center of one's life itself. Discharging pure devotional service unto the Supreme Lord is the actual purport of the Vedas, which supersedes the institution of Varnashram itself and awards one with the ultimate objective of divine love. That is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he sat with Ramananda Rai on the banks of Godavari, Sri Chaitanya rejected this institution of Varnashram as something external and not conducive to pure devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has famously said, I am a pure spirit soul. I am not a Brahmana. I am not a Kshatriya. I am not a Vaishya or a Sudra. Nor I am a Brahmachari or a householder, a Vanaprastha or a Sannyasi. I identify myself only as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had preached about pure devotional service, ecstatic love and the absolute truth by making Ramananda Rai, a householder who was born in a low caste, as the speaker. Thereafter Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, the exalted Brahmana Sannyasi, and under his orders Pradyumna Mishra, who was also a purified Brahmana, both of them became the audience of Ramananda Rai's philosophical discourses. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the glories of the holy name of the Lord through Haridas Thakur, who was born in a Muslim family. Similarly, he exhibited the essence of devotional service through Sanatan Goswami, who had almost been converted into a Muslim. Srila Haridas Thakur used to chant 3 lakhs holy names of Krishna daily and is also renowned as the Namacharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the most revered and one of the 6 exalted Goswamis of Vrindavan, was born in a Kayastha family. His devotional mood and sentiments are glorified in the entire world. Thus, it has to be understood that the designations of Varna and Ashrama are temporary concepts related to one's body. These designations are finished as soon as one gives up his body. However, the soul is immortal and its journey is eternal. The soul's transmigration from one body to the next ends only when one obtains the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Hari or Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. Hence, a Vaishnava or a devotee of Lord Vishnu does not identify himself with all these external designations. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Kiva Bipro Kiva Nashi Shudro Keno Noy Jai Krishna Tattvaveta Shei Guru Hoy. One may be born a Brahmana, a Shudra, or he may be a Sannyasi. These external designations are not very important. However, what is really important is whether that person is well versed in the science of God, in the science of Krishna or not. If he is well versed in the science of Krishna, then that person is eligible to become a guru, a spiritual master, irrespective of his varna or ashram. So it is very clear that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had rejected this institution of varnashram in its present form that has become prevalent in the Indian society today. And instead, he encouraged others to rise beyond these material designations and focus their activities, focus their strengths, their skills, their tendencies towards the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. He stressed that one should redirect all of one's strengths towards satisfying the Supreme Lord without having a tinge of desire for satisfying one's own senses. Thus, when little Raghunath Das wanted to renounce his own family and join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement full time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had actually discouraged him and advised him not to become a show bottle renunciant. Outwardly renouncing the family and society while harboring desires for sense gratification is just like the renunciation of a monkey. Instead, it is better to stay at one's home and practice devotion, engaging one's mind, body and senses in the service of the Supreme Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hence preaches, Jei bhaje shei boro abhakto hinochar Krishna bhajane nahi jati kulo bichar. Anyone who discharges devotional service is exalted, whereas a non-devotee is always condemned and abominable. In the discharge of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, there is no consideration of one's background, one's status or one's family. I would like to end this video, this presentation, by citing a beautiful verse by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati is considered an authority on the Vedic scriptures. He was a great follower of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspires us to rise above this petty caste system and instead focus our energies and dedicate our lives in the service of the Supreme Lord. Pure devotional service is the actual purport of the Vedic scriptures and the real goal of one's existence. So brothers and sisters, let us not waste any more time and pray for Sri Krishna Chaitanya's mercy so that we can dedicate our lives, we can engage our lives in this noble mission. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati writes in Chaitanya Chandramrita, for those who have attained the merciful sidelong glance of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, impersonal liberation becomes as painful as going to hell. The heavenly cities of the demigods seem to be as trivial as mere flowers floating in the sky. The venomous and poisonous fangs of the untamable black snakes of the senses become extracted and uprooted. The whole world, which is otherwise full of misery, becomes full of supreme joy, and the exalted positions of Brahma, Indra, and all the demigods become as significant as those of tiny insects. Let us glorify that supremely merciful Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So thank you very much. Thanks once again for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Please also don't forget to check out our website, thegauriotreasuresofbengal.com, where we have a lot of articles on such esoteric subjects. We also have a spiritual bookstore and our books are delivered all over the world. So please make sure to visit our online bookstore as well.